Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope I'm using my microphone right at this time. It's mounted on my camera and I've googled all the settings and I hope that it's amazing. So today I am surrounded by Love Kings boxes at the back. Here I'm going to take you guys through basically what I do for a living and what Love Kings is. Welcome. My hair is just so different today. It's super soft. My curl definition is different. I feel like with different products, every time I use like a different product, the outcome is so different. So when my hair has no product in, which would probably take a while, like if I clarify and just not put any product, my curl is tighter. But when I've got different products, my curl is looser. And with some products, the looseness is retained. And with some products, it's loose on the first day, second day it goes tighter. And actually with the use of satin pillowcases and headscarves or dukes, the curls are retained for longer because the moisture is retained. It's just a lot. So my hair literally looks different all the time and every day. So you can't really, like, in one day you could say, ooh, she's got whatever hair, and in the other day you could say she's got 4C hair or whatever. So I'm just not into definitions anymore. It is the hair I get. Love the hair you get through your gene pool or whatever they call it. Through your genes. Let me just keep it there because I don't know if I'm saying gene pool and it makes it something better, something else. But anyway. Okay guys, so I'm going to be taking you through my career. Basically the last 10 years. And eventually getting into what is a Love Kings. Don't you Love Kings. Like hashtag Love Kings. Hashtag yeah, so I'm just going to be taking you guys through that. So I studied urban and regional planning at WITS, University of Witwatersrand. So I migrated from the Eastern Cape to Gauteng in 2009. So I studied town planning for 5 years. It was a 4-year course with honors, but it took me 5 years, which I'm not ashamed about because I actually had so much fun in varsity. It literally still is my favorite 5-year time frame. Like ever. I started working with the professional urban and regional planner who was based in East London when I was still in my undergrad, when I was still in second year, third year. So naturally, after I was done with my honors, I went back home for a year and a half. Also did that because my brothers and my sisters, when they start working, they usually live at home and they give back to the family. So that year and a half that I was staying at home, actually ended up only staying at home for a year. The last 6 months I was like, let me go move into my own place in East London still. But in the first year I was living at home, and actually to this day, like, I don't even view it as black tax. I give back to my family. The only boundaries that I've set is that I no longer want to be asked for money because it gives me anxiety. So I give money when I can, and I give the amount that I feel like I can give. It's so weird because now that I'm not being asked, I'm actually giving more, right? It's not as frequent, but when it happens, it's like a lot. So I think phrase it how you want, giving back, black tax. Do with it what you want, accept it, don't accept it. We all have different backgrounds, we all have different contexts. Some of our parents are well off and give to us, and some of our parents we have to give to, whether it's needs, like stuff like groceries, or it's like holidays, where it's just once. So I love giving my parents once. Like I'll say to my mom, go buy yourself some like dresses or whatever, and I'll say to my dad, please take mom or take each other out for dinner. Here's something. Or I'll say, you know what, please change the like I saw that our lace curtains were damaged, so I was like, okay, please change the lace curtains at home, like, you know. So it's just like, it's up to you. I think there's no rule when it comes to these things. I'm a flexible person when it comes to rules. I'm anti-establishment. I'm anti, you must do this, this is wrong. No. So I'm just like, what is your context? What's your psychodynamic history? What works for you? What makes you happy? What makes you sleep at night? What makes just the whole thing work? Cop car. Main reason why I moved back home was just following suit with how my sisters did it. And number two, the guy that I worked for, which is my first boss for that year and a half, I had worked with him while I was an undergrad, so it was easy. I didn't have to apply for jobs. Basically, my varsity and the time that I spent in East London was the first 6 years of my career. So the last 4 years have been me transitioning from my corporate job into my self-employment business owner profile. Okay, so I worked as a town planner in East London, then I moved to Joburg, and I worked as a CID manager, a City Improvement District Manager, which town planners are most qualified to do because we do deal with spatial issues, spatial issues, whether they're political, economic, or just social. And then we also deal with cities operating optimally. So whether it's security, services, lighting, a whole lot of things, talking to government, public-private partnerships to make sure that the city runs well between property owners, whether it's your centered building or whether it's this building that I live in, and government, which basically owns the streets and let's say the green space between the road and the house. Sometimes, well, it depends each time. So city improvement districts, it's self-explanatory. So we just helped the public and the private sector work well so that the cities operate well. There's a city improvement district in Rosebank. So literally that distinct area that is the base in Rosebank is a city improvement district. The area around Sandton City, where there's always people in red outfits cleaning, that's a city improvement district. Braamfontein is a city improvement district. That's how Braamfontein went from how it was back in the day, where it was like really gross, to when farmers markets, neighborhoods market actually started. That was part of the city improvement district. Basically implemented plans, and then the lighting improved and cleanliness improved, so people actually were drawn into the area. So sometimes it ends up in gentrification, but that's another story for another day. So I loved that job, but the company got liquidated, so I had to move on. So then I went into property management. There was a time that I thought I'd do a master's or postgraduate diploma in property management. I did that for a year and a half. It wasn't for me. I just feel like for up until you're 60 or 50, you stay in a certain position there, and then you only get to go up the ladder to property manager or asset manager after a while, if you study other things to add on to your existing degree, or if you've just got the personality for it. It depends. Some people progress through personality, some people progress through additional degrees, some people progress through a combination, you know. Okay, so yeah, so that was me. I helped manage the zone, Rosebank. So I wasn't in a high position. I was more handling leases, and it was more administrative more than anything, but it taught me so much just about what happens when you want to own a shop in a mall, what do the leases look like. I learned a lot about what it takes to be able to be approved in a space like that, and a whole lot of other stuff that I'm not thinking about right now. I also met a lot of business owners, which was really cool. Like I dealt with the Krispy Kreme team, I dealt with the a lot, like all the shops that you see at the zone. I've basically dealt with the owners, understanding how Stochenico works, understanding how restaurants work, like Ocean Basket, companies that have been there for like 20 years and moved out, like Primi, or companies like Tasha's. Met the owner of Tasha's, which was great. So I just learned a lot in the process. And I think all these things I've been learning at all these jobs and when I was in corporate have actually helped me understand how to work my business I think better is the right word. So I decided to leave my 9-to-5 officially 2 years ago, 2018 April. I left because I had moved to another town planning role in a black woman only company. So what happened there is that there was a lot of dishonesty, salaries not being paid on time, and at that time my influencer career was really on the come up. I was making about 5,000 Rand a month at that time. It was 2 years ago. So while some months I'd make like 20K and then I wouldn't make anything, let's say for 2 months, but if I averaged it out in the year, I was making like 5,000 Rand a month, which was 5,000 times 10 is 50K plus the other 2 months, so that's like 60K extra income on top of my 9-to-5 a year. So that was pretty cool for me. So I was like, okay, I was reading up on how people have mastered their influencer or online content creation careers, and always said spend more time on the craft, buy cameras, just invest in the craft. And I wasn't investing in the craft because I had a 9 to 5. Every morning I'd wake up and go to work. So the only time that I could create content was really during the weekend, because when I got back from work, the lighting was horrible. So I couldn't do stuff during the day. I only had an iPhone, I didn't have cameras, I didn't do anything. So I hadn't really invested in my content creation career. So I decided, okay, you know what, too much is happening here, it's affecting me mentally and emotionally, so let me just leave this job. I was actually only there for 2 months, and I moved over to self-employment. So I had gotten a big job offer from like the biggest natural hair brand in the world, and I spoke to the US team and everything was amazing. That was like my dream job. But the team just was not transformed enough. It was only white males and females in the team. I remember when I spoke to the US team, they actually said, have you ever used this product in your hair? And I was like, yes, I have. I've used 2 of their products. And they were like, actually, one of the main things we want is someone who just knows how to use the product and live with it. Because then that affects marketing internally, and that affects just how the brand is represented in South Africa. So that company had been in South Africa at the time for about 2 years. So now they've been around, or obviously longer, and they just felt not misrepresented, but not represented well enough. So I was willing to take up that role, but I remember just having a conversation over the 3 interview process, and I just wasn't heard. Like, I'd speak, and then the response was like completely like off, like sync, you know. So I remember saying, I feel that we should maybe infiltrate black-owned salons, like offer them cost price sales so that they can market the product into the black community. The price points I also told them were very high, and even myself, with my Instagram supplemented income, I still couldn't afford the products, and they were just not hearing me. And then when I said, I don't think it's enough for me only to have the transformative role, so we need more people to assist. So I said, actually, I could help market the products on my Instagram. So they were like, no, you have to teach your Instagram. I was like, no, but my Instagram can support my role. And they were like, no, we don't want any whatever, not conflicting something. So I had to delete my Instagram as to get the job, number one. Number two, I think one of the answers I got was, we've invested in Clicks Curls, so we're getting to understand the product. But I was like, no, you have to be able to use the product to understand it. And if you're using it on non-curly hair, like straight hair, then you're no longer going to really get it in the same way if I experience it. It was just a lot, so I didn't take my dream job at the time, because I'm currently living my dream job, if you tell the truth. So at the time, I turned down my dream job because of these things. I was just going to be really frustrated every day, talking and not being heard and not implementing change. So one of the reasons why I really enjoy working for myself is that I'm a person who likes to see a project from the beginning till the end. That's my passion. I'm a good communicator. I'm passionate. So even at my first job, my boss just saw my personality and would give me a project from the time the client emails and says, hi, I would like to develop a 16-unit development. I'm turning my house into apartments. I would take that, I'd quote them, I'd see which part of the legislation matches the application, send out the quote, tell them the time frame, it'll take me a year to do this. And I would do that project till the day that I see the building being built. So I like that kind of thing. So at that position, I wouldn't be able to carry something through from the beginning till the end. So really that was a problem for me. So anyway, so I was like, okay, I flew home and I was like, Dad, I'm leaving my job. I'm not going back to corporate for the next year. It was supposed to be 12 months at first. So I need your support, because it's so crazy. Like, I could have done it without my dad's support, but something just about my dad's support makes me sleep easy at night. My dad is patriarchal, but somehow I give in to that patriarchy, and I like to satisfy him because he's just an amazing dad and he loves me. So yeah, patriarchy is actually a very complicated subject, because when it comes from your dad and when it comes from your lover, it's 2 different things. My boyfriend, I won't take it. Like, my boyfriend has that thing of, I'm a provider, I want to do this and that and that and that. And I'm like, okay, sometimes I'm like, okay, baby, go ahead. But I know at the back of my mind, like, that's not how life works, you know. But sometimes you just pick your battles, you know. So it really, but when it's my dad, and my dad is like, my son Benny, I'm taking you guys out, And he's got all these things like, Mufasa must do that, Mufasa mustn't do this, why am I not married yet, and I need to be less strong, like I'm too strong for marriage, and all of these things. And I'm just like, but then when I'm home back in Joburg, I'm like, maybe I should tone down my tone a little bit when I'm talking to my partner, because maybe this is not like what my dad would view. So it's crazy. Like, I'm a feminist through and through, but because I was raised by this person for so long, sometimes the things that he says do affect me. And I do love to cook, and I don't love to clean. I don't clean. Nope, sorry. I will clean because it's a life skill, but I mean, I can't say cleaning gives me peace or lessens my anxiety or it's a time to bond with myself. No, but I love to cook. And even cooking, I don't want to feel like I have to cook. But anyway, guys, I'm digressing again. So, Love Kings became the primary, basically, receiver of all my time and efforts. So I started Love Kings 4 years ago, which was 2 years before I left corporate. And Love Kings was basically giving a formal structure to my masterclasses where I would have a practical showcasing masterclass basically of the tips that I was giving on Instagram and YouTube. YouTube actually developed from me feeling like the 1 minute videos on Instagram weren't enough at that time. Now there's Instagram videos, longer videos, so it's okay. But I mean, at that time it was only 1 minute. So it wasn't enough, so I moved over to YouTube, and then just YouTube and Instagram weren't enough because people weren't getting it. Like, people know when you say lock method, but when you're actually doing the lock method on the strap, it's totally different. I'll say to someone, you need to wash your hair with shampoo, like I say, once in a month or once every 2 weeks, and then they just won't do it at home. But once they come to the Love Kings event and they see when you do this and you do that and the pH balances and then you do the lock method, there's an actual extreme difference. And when you do the apple cider vinegar rinse, I remember I had one at Bruto's where they showed them the apple cider vinegar rinse. It's a totally different story. So the practical application of the tips is a totally different story than YouTube and Instagram. So I started the master classes then. I hadn't registered the company until that year when I left. So I left work in April. I registered my company in August. So my company was registered in August 2018. So 2018 December, then 2019, I feel like it's time for me to start the production of my products. So when I was planning my product, basically how I'm gonna roll out my product, I wanted an ecosystem. You know, like how you've got an iPad, AirPods, iPhone, laptop. That whole thing works together. So I wanted like something where, that's a bad analogy, but that thing where you sleep, wake up, go to bed, and Love Kings takes care of that whole process. So Love Kings already was taking care of tips and videos and masterclasses. So that was like one information sphere, or like basically part of the company. So that was basically phase one of what I was actually born on earth to do, basically. So that was the information situation. So that was the information. Phase two, then I introduced satin pillowcases. At the time, I wasn't really into dooks or headscarves because I felt like I didn't like the narrative around there, that angry black woman with the dook and an old gal who's shouting at her son. So I didn't like that, so I wasn't really convinced about it. And then at that time, I just had pillowcases. So I'm going to show you the pillowcases. They come in this bag, and that's the logo. So 2 satin pillowcases. The pillowcases were supposed to be luxurious, so I took 4 pillowcases that I had, different ones from different companies, and then I checked what the shortfalls were, them slipping off, the material being too thin, the material washing out ugly, like I'd wash the material and it would be ugly. This pillowcase, basically, like I've had since that first production, and I've been using some of the pillowcases. Actually, the 2 that I'm going to show you on the pillows I've been using since I launched them last year in July, and the quality is the same. Like, they even get better after the first wash, so they go smoother. So, like, literally, so it was like quality, packaging, love the packaging, and labels, just giving an identity to my brand, and washing instructions. So yeah, so I launched those satin pillowcases last year. So that was going to be Love Kings taking care of sleep. So the main reason why I chose to do satin pillowcases is because they retain moisture overnight. They also help your skin, but the primary benefits that I was looking at were the hair benefits. So when you've got a hairstyle, cornrows, it keeps it in place for longer. It reduces frizz. It reduces tangling, even fairy knots. It reduces general tangling of the strands, so less detangling. You need less detangling. All of us already need different levels of detangling because our hair is different. But I mean, for everyone, it's a step less that you have to do. Not no detangling at all, but it reduces the amount of detangling that you have to do. Even shrinkage, my hair shrinks less. Like last night I slept with my hair out and my hair didn't shrink much because of the satin pillowcases, because they don't suck out the moisture like cotton. So that was the first phase. So I'm going to show you now the pillowcases on the pillow. So this is the cream pillowcase. This one I've had since June last year. So this is the back, and that's where the logo is. So this is my sleeping pillow. So it's very, very light. You see, like it's got nothing inside. So I like to sleep more flat than up. So then for those people that don't prefer to sleep flat, the pillowcases also work for more plump pillows. So I sit on my couch in this. There's the branding. So I sit on my couch on this, I lie on the couch on this because my back needs more support. So the pillowcases have also taken that into consideration. There's different colors that match with different bedding. At all times, I always make sure I've got like a white or a navy, like a cream, like light colors and dark colors that fit the spectrum of bedding. So I didn't like that pillowcases before would be like weird colors with big branding that didn't match my bedding. So now when I walk into my room, any bedding that I have, it just fits seamlessly. It doesn't feel like it's out of place. So that adds to the luxury and lifestyle aspect of Love Kings. So those are the pillowcases. Then fast forward, that's 2019. Fast forward 2020, masterclasses can't carry on because of COVID. People need more amplified self-care, which includes hair care, obviously because it's part of beauty. So I was like, okay, let me do headscarves finally. Let me change the narrative. Tindy really helped with that because she was like, challenge the narrative. So I introduced satin dukes. So this is an example of a white satin duke. It's got these straps to keep it from falling off. These have been copied. Like on Instagram, so many were launched after. So the labeling there, and you know, headscarves have existed for so long. Some people say it reminds them of durags, which I didn't think of at that time when I was designing it. But I mean, there's people that have done exactly the same design as me, same straps, same thickness. The label is even at the same exact spot. But anyway, this is one of my favorite things I've done in my whole career and my whole life. Love them to bits. These are sold for 150 Rand. The pillowcases is two pillowcases for 350 with the bag on the website www.love-kings.com. You can follow me on Instagram as well. I'll put my handle in the description box so you can see all of that there, and I post about it quite frequently. And then that's a white one. This is a white extra shine. So I give different options. But some people do prefer shiny, some people do prefer matte. But I personally love the matte look. I actually love all of them. And then this is an example of an oat colored one. So there's also different colors. And there's a duke to match all of the pillowcases, which adds to the luxurious feel. These have done very well. These have actually been the highlight of the success of my business. These have, I can't even talk about it because it makes me nervous. Like, it's insane. These have actually upsold the pillowcases. So these have made the pillowcases sell even more because they've made the pillowcases more desirable. You can use them together. You can use the duke alone. You can use the pillowcases alone. Then I introduced these lightweight dukes. These are for people that don't enjoy tension on their head. These are less durable. These are like your lingerie. Like, you don't wear your lingerie every day, or you'll have to change it every 6 months. So this, you probably have to change every 3 to 6 months and buy a new one, just like your washing rag that you wash your body or face with. So those other ones are more durable. So then I decided to introduce packaging, which was also a big step of growth in my company, because usually I was putting the dukes or the pillowcases in just a courier bag. So I think what helped with my branding was improving the customer experience and the Love Kings brand. So these are the Love Kings boxes. So it's Love Kings and it's my logo, and I've just changed up the logo a little bit. Love Kings, easy essential hair care, www.lovekings.com. So it says, Dear Love Kings family. So I love this. I love this message because it took us so long. It took us over like 3 weeks to put this message together, and it fully encompasses like my journey and everything. Thank you for this purchase, number one, because I don't want to say thank you for the support, because a lot of issues that I get or I hear, or issues I've had in the past with black businesses, is that people do feel like, even I felt this, where you support a fellow black business owner, it feels like you're doing them a favor. So we need to understand that we're making a purchase in the same way we'd make a purchase at a big store, whether it's your Woolies or your Zara. So we need to start changing the words, the emotive words that we use. So purchase or buy instead of support, But I love the word support, and it makes sense, but I want to be more intentional about the fact that it is a purchase. So thank you for your purchase. This product is a key word, was specifically designed with your healthy hair journey in mind. So that is a loaded sentence. So specifically designed, and then healthy hair, and then journey. Journey is a very loaded word because all of us have different journeys with our hair, and all our hair is different, and our backgrounds are different, and how we think is different. So each journey is specified to each person's mental like just orientation to the world. And then in mind, so the mind represents thoughtfulness. Okay, in black women's hair has been historically underserved, and Love King's goal is to celebrate our innate beauty and love our hair in its natural state. So even there's a lot of emotive words. There's black women's hair, there's historically underserved, there's Love King's goal, there's celebrate our innate beauty, and then our hair in its natural state. And then this healthy natural hair is achievable and it's not a chore. I hate that people think that our hair is a chore. It used to be a chore for me as well, but I feel like over time we can transform it into not being a chore. So in the beginning it was a chore for me, but not anymore. And then here's to happy and healthy hair and skin. So eventually I want natural hair to be viewed how people love skincare. Like I didn't do skincare for a long time, but now I've got all the steps right and I do it. Gymming, I feel like natural hair is very similar to gym. You got genetically the body makeup that you have, whether it's an apple shape, pear shape, all the different shapes, but then you do your best to improve that body type that you have. You can't really change anything unless you go cut. So natural hair is the same. Genetically you get what you get, the thickness that you get, the strands that you get, the porosity that you get, and then you then do your best via washing. You have to wash your hair, guys, via washing and treatments to then basically get the best that you can get out of your hair. So eventually we need to get over this obsessing about curl types and see, no, you've got better genes, so you can say that. No, even with body, different people have different genes. I don't feel like my hair is the best that I've ever seen. Then at the bottom we basically put primary benefits. Certain pillowcases help retain the moisture in your hair and skin. Certain Dooks help retain the moisture in your hair. So I've addressed the pillowcases and the Dooks in that sentence. Then other benefits include no lines on your face. So when you wake up, you don't have those lines. Reduced tangling due to minimal friction. So it doesn't take away tangling, but it does reduce it a lot. I don't have statistics on what percentage. And then hairstyles stay in place. Hair is shiny and better skin is achievable over time. Okay. Hope you enjoy these products. You can continue to follow us at Love Kings on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I love these boxes. So this is the small box and I've got a bigger box. The message is the same. So these are for the bigger orders and these are for the smaller orders. So I love these. These were a big improvement for my business, and these were also suggested by my followers, just like the headscarves and Dooks. So my big part of my business model is listening to my followers and what they need. Me moving over to YouTube was because people were saying the videos were too short on Instagram. Me moving over to masterclasses because people needed a more practical example of how to do hair care. It's like teaching a man how to fish as opposed to giving a man fish. So yeah, guys, that's been my career. So I've been sort of like in the media a lot recently because of the Dooks, because the Dooks have such a strong heritage aspect. We grew up with Dooks. My mom gave me my first Dook, and when you get married as a black woman in the Xhosa culture and other cultures, you start wearing a Dook basically when you're around your in-laws and all of that. So there's a lot of association. I've written about it very intensely on my I've written about it in my I've written about it in my most recent magazine feature. This is Destiny Magazine. This is a business magazine, beautiful and profitable. It focuses on women-owned, female-owned businesses, especially black businesses, but they do sometimes feature different races. And I've just talked about how the heritage aspect, I've talked about how it came about, the assistance I got from my followers through comments and suggestions. Guys, please do grab a copy. Yeah, this is the August issue, so it will be on shelves, I think, for a week or 2 more weeks. I love this. It's dear to me. I've actually put it up, as you guys saw in my apartment tour, on my wall. Yeah, I think that's it. So that is the story behind Love Kings. I hope that I've been very informative. I even have it like on my phone. I live and breathe this brand, which I think is very important. Even in my office space, which will also be my new filming space, you guys will see how I'll incorporate the brand fully into the office via paintings and all of that. I've had my logo printed on a big canvas, and I really can't wait for you guys to see that. I will do an office tour. I will not be doing a tour of my new home, but I will be doing an office tour just to show you guys the space where I'll be working. These boxes at the back, I'm about to pack some orders. So let me actually get to packing these orders so that people can have them by tomorrow. Thank you for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. See natural. Mwah.